Jay here from Stretford, Paddock. This is Agree or Disagree, where the four of us have a big argument, a discussion, a fight over the latest Manchester United topics. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Joining us, as always, is Lauren. How are we doing?
Really good. How are you doing, Jay?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I love transfer season, mate. This is my favourite bit of the football calendar. I don't like matches and that, it does me head in. But transfers, love them. Love transfers. Chelsea is also with us, as always. How are we doing?
Yeah, good, yeah.
Yeah.
Been a long time, but
I know we've not had you guys on for a little while, have we? A lot has gone on. It's all happening
Really
in the wonderful world of Manchester United. And as always, Mr. Joe Smith. How are we doing, Joseph?
Hello.
You good?
Yes.
Thank you. That's what I like. Nice, succinct answers.
Dry a little bit.
Yeah, I don't like play.
No,
You're
it's
not
not.
giving anything
When
away,
I
are you?
say it, you say, yeah.
What?
You give me shit.
You're starting already, aren't you?
Yeah.
Hey, do you know what I mean? Right.
You always
I'll
start.
go through the format when you've calmed yourself down. Stop digging me out. The format of this show is each person, except me, because I'm just hosting today, will make an argument for a striker at Manchester United. Someone who should come in at Manchester United and be the next signing or the signing after Brian Mbeumo. We've not included Brian Mbeumo because you might argue he's not a striker, and also it looks like that one's going to happen. So we've got a few candidates who may come in as a number 9, and each person here is going to make the argument on why they would be the best player for Manchester United to sign. Does that all make sense? Do you understand it? We want you guys to get involved in the chat in the comments. There is going to be a poll and you can vote as to who won, who made the best argument. So we'll start off with you, Joseph.
Yeah.
Yeah? It's not ladies first, it's you first. Right? Who's your player that you're going to make the argument for? Tell us that first of all.
I think we should sign Viktor Osimhen.
You think Viktor Osimhen, right?
Yeah.
So you've got 1 minute to make the argument of why we should sign Viktor Osimhen, and then Chelsea and Lauren are going to have a minute each to give their arguments as well. So off you go, my bro.
I think he is the most well-rounded striker that United have been linked with. I think he's the only player that I genuinely believe can score every type of goal. I think he obviously is someone that has limitations, and he isn't, necessarily the most well-rounded player. I don't think he carries the ball as well as others. I don't think he's as good in tight spaces as others. But I think he would work in this system better than anyone else. He's phenomenal in the air. His shooting and ball striking is absolutely exceptional. He's got an amazing goal-scoring record everywhere he's been, pretty much. And he's someone that has consistently done it in different leagues, in different circumstances, won titles in different places that he's been as well. I think it works perfectly with a Brian Mbeumo and Mateus Cunha behind him. Those runs in behind, the pace that he's got, and the way that he can physically dominate strikers and defenders, without being a one-trick pony. I don't think anyone else can offer what he can offer, and I think he's a brilliant player that would also add a little bit of star quality to United as well, without being someone that I think is too much of a sort of problem. I don't think you get loads of drama with him. I just think he's a brilliant player.
Fair enough. Good, some good points there. Also, we're looking at what they're bringing to the team here. You can argue that whether they're going to come or not. That's a separate argument. This is like, if we did get him, what would he be bringing to Manchester United's team? So I completely get that. Loads of people in the chat and the comments already. It's good to see Kelvin Maruri, Mozambique is in there as well. Nico Yamal. Keep the comments coming. I'm going to get into the chat in a minute, but now we will let everyone else have a go. So, Chels, who's the player you're going to be defending or promoting, I should say?
Sticking on the theme of Victors, but I'm going to go with Viktor Gyokeres.
Okay, you've got a minute. We're going to put a timer up for you that we'll be able to see whenever you're ready.
So I think if we're going to go all out for a striker this season, I think the striker that we need to go for is Viktor Gyokeres. I've argued this point before in the past, and I still stand by it. He's the only player out of all the strikers that we're linked with that I think knows and is made for Amorim's system inside and out. I think he's kind of moulded him into this player that he is. His goal scoring record is incredible. I think in the Portuguese league last season he scored 39 goals in 33 games, which is just absolutely incredible output from a striker. And if he could bring that kind of goal scoring ability and that prolific goal scoring to United, I think that would just be an amazing thing for us. He's also shown that he can do it in England as well. He was played at Coventry and I know it's the Championship and the Premier League, it's different, but he's shown he can play in English football. And I just think with the players that we're signing, like Mbeumo, like Cunha, hopefully, obviously with Mbeumo, I just think he'll fit into that system really well, and I think he'll be a really safe bet. And I think that's why we should sign him.
Very good. Makes sense. Good stuff. Last but by no means least, Lauren, who are you going to be promoting?
Well, it's no surprise that I'm still sticking with Ollie Watkins.
You and Ollie Watkins, this obsession you've got with Ollie Watkins, man.
Love him.
Jesus wept.
I love this because I don't think he's been linked with United once, but
No,
I do think
but-
I like
Yes, because you've been promoting it that much.
Yeah, I am
the
the
papers
link.
have picked up on
I
it.
am the link.
And it's one of those where you go, Watkins link, you're like, really? And you look through and it goes, speaking on the Agree or Disagree podcast, Lauren said, right, you've got a minute, off you go. Tell us why we should sign
I think
Ollie Watkins.
with Ollie Watkins, firstly, Premier League proven, which is what we've needed for a very long time, because we've signed younger players or past older players, and the younger players aren't working, the older players are too old. Ollie Watkins is still 29. That gives us time to then build a younger player up behind him. He's Premier League proven, he's 16 goals and 8 assists this year in the league. So it's a more than both of the players we've had as strikers this season. And like I say, I think he can then help mould then the younger players coming in behind. So it's still building for the future, even though he is 29, because I think that a lot the younger players can learn from him underneath him. And I think he's not that injury prone. We need someone that's reliable. I know he is injured right now before anyone says, but he's not injury prone. He can hold the ball very well. And I think that's what we also need. And that's why I think he'd be perfect.
He'd be perfect. So you're going with the Ollie Watkins argument again. Get involved in the chat and the comments. Rod Broadbent says, I'd bring Jamie Vardy in, regardless of who he signs. Scores goals, free, great option off the bench.
That's the sort of signing I actually could see us doing if we haven't got anyone else by like mid-August.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean? Like where you like, actually, United just want something on the bench in the last few weeks of the window. But hopefully...
But that's scary that that's the only thing we'd sign is someone
hopefully
that can come off the bench.
for Jamie Vardy,
Yeah.
So we'll start with Joe. You obviously made the case for Viktor Osimhen.
Yeah.
I like Viktor Osimhen. I'm not going to pretend I don't. Fantastic player, scores goals, has that sort of style that fans love.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Gets stuck in, scores spectacular goals, sticks his head in where maybe he shouldn't. He's fearless. We love all that, and I think he would be a bit of a fan's favourite. But to play devil's advocate, he doesn't have Premier League experience. And also, are there some question marks around Viktor Osimhen? I mean, why is a player at the peak of his career, no disrespect, but why is he playing for Galatasaray? Why is he there?
Yeah.
Why is he on the market? Why is no one really in for him? A player with those amount of goals at that age, who's won a Scudetto for Napoli and delivered their first one since the 80s, I think. I know they've won one since, but is there not a few question marks there that trouble you a little bit?
There obviously are, because, you know, I know that some of it was, we've spoken about this so many times, but the sort of racist post that Napoli put on their social media and he sort of fell out with them about it, I think that was part of it, but I don't think that was all of it. I do think there was personal disagreements, and Carl Anker was on here and he mentioned the kind of difficulty in dealing with, you know, Napoli directly and also his agents and his team that want a lot of money for him. So there are obviously questions and hurdles to get over. But I just think that he does more than anyone else. And I didn't used to be so keen on him before we had Ruben Amorim and with the players that we had last season. I think him next to Garnacho doesn't work at all. But him next to Brian Mbeumo, who literally put in, I think, the second most crosses of any forward or attacker, midfielder, in the Premier League last season. That works. Yeah. Him getting on the end of things, both in the air, on the volley, and on the ground. He's brilliant at that. And I think that, obviously, part of why I think this deal is doable is because there aren't that many people going for him. He will, you know, therefore command or demand lower wages. I think you could probably get him for that under 300 grand a week mark, which United seem to be so keen on sticking to.
Do we not need to question then why other teams aren't coming for him?
Well, maybe,
coming in for him though.
But look at, I think that's often the case with big money strikers, because, you know, I know obviously Florian Wirtz was it Real Madrid were sort of sniffing around him as well, but it's basically Liverpool's had a free run at that. You look at Benjamin Sesko. Pretty much it's Arsenal that are going for him. You know, Gyokeres at the minute is another one where you go, you know, it's kind of just United. And know there's hints that Arsenal are as well. But Al Hilal went all out for Osimhen, couldn't get him. Galatasaray really want him, but are going to struggle with the wages. So it's not just because no other Premier League teams are seemingly that keen. Doesn't mean that no one thinks he's any good.
Will we struggle with the wages though?
Yeah, we will do. Yeah, and that for me is the big issue. Is the limiting factor,
the sticking point.
But you have to say, look at your career. if you can either go and do the 700 grand a week stuff in Saudi, which he seems to have rejected, or you can try and build a legacy at one of the mega clubs in Europe, which you've never played at before, because Napoli's a big team, but like Jay said, they'd won one title in 30 years when he got there. Come and do it at the biggest team in England and prove that you are the guy that we thought, Napoli thought you were when they signed you for 80 million, nearly 10 years ago.
I think we need to sign someone that's got like arrogance about them without being a problem. Because to go, I can make this team better, I can change this team, I can win the league for this team. And I think that they're the signings we need right now.
Would you class Ollie Watkins as someone who's got the arrogance to do that?
Yes.
Really?
Would you?
No, I reckon the thing is, I think he's obviously seen United and he's been at Villa, he's had the Champions League experience. I think he could probably come in and go, yeah, I've got the experience now. I've been in the Champions League. Last season United weren't, so why can't I do it?
I think Ollie Watkins, his goals obviously, I think he's a little bit underrated, Ollie Watkins. I think people just sort of dismiss the fact he scores loads of Premier League goals, which is weird because it's not obviously easy to do. I just don't know with Ollie Watkins. I wonder if he's got that. I know you're saying he's got that arrogance. I don't know if he's got that swagger. I don't know. I don't know.
I wonder where it's more humble though.
Maybe there, yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. You don't. Not everyone has to be.
I don't mean it as in they need to shout it from the rooftops. They just have to have that ability.
Yeah. Viktor Gyokeres.
Yeah.
I mean, feel free. It's an open debate. Anyone can join in. He's one that's been heavily linked with Manchester United. Of all the ones we're speaking about, he's probably the one that's most likely. I've seen a lot of people though online who were questioning this move purely because he hasn't got Premier League experience. Yes, he played in England at Coventry and did well there, but it is a Championship and was a few years ago. And also, if you scratch beneath the surface this season, a lot of those goals have come in the Portuguese league against lower opposition. I think his non-penalty goals, which again, and I'm reaching a bit here, a lot of them have been like up against the sort of bottom half of the table.
Yeah, I think, to be fair though, with United, I feel like there aren't many teams, especially this season, that actually finish below us anyway. So at the end of the day, it's kind of I think it's just fair. It's fair game. I think any striker can come in and sort of score them goals. I just think with the whole Premier League proven thing, for example, yes, Watkins is Premier League proven and he has scored goals in Premier League. I get that completely. But if you've got two Premier League players that are coming in, for example, Cunha and Wemo, I don't think it really necessarily means that every single player we have to bring in has to be Premier League proven. Like, he's got that experience with Amorim. He's got that experience playing in that system that Amorim plays. And I just can't see a world where he would come to United and he would completely fail, because you don't be that prolific in a certain league and score in the Champions League and stuff and then come into the Premier League and be a complete flop, especially with the players being brought in around him. I just can't see him not coming to United and not working.
My only worry with Gyokeres is, and I like him. If we signed him, I'd be excited. I'd be excited if we got Watkins, by the way. But one thing that puts me off Gyokeres is his weaknesses are the things that the Premier League is so good at. He's not great in small spaces. He's used to bullying and chucking defenders around. The Premier League is faster, bigger, stronger than any other league in the world. I just worry, could he do that here? Can you come here and chuck Van Dijk on the floor? Or even, I don't know, Calvin Bassey. Like, not necessarily top players, but like, it's so quick, so physical, so strong. He's 6'1", is he? He's not a Haaland size guy.
Because we thought that was going to happen with Højlund when we signed him, and it didn't. So that's what I'm saying.
I'm not sure.
But Højlund is a big guy, sorry, and he has that physicality, but he's been shit.
He don't do it.
He's been shit.
He falls over more than the defenders do.
Exactly.
Right, we're going to leave the open debate there. The polls are open. I'm going to get into some of the comments. You can vote. You can vote who you think has won the argument. You might not even necessarily believe that is the right play. You might just think they've made the best argument for this show. Mario De Silva, when thinking about if Gyokeres can cut in the Prem, we should look at Isaac. Both play for Sweden. Isaac has 52 games and 16 goals. Gyokeres has 26 games and 15 goals. He scored everywhere he's been. Thanks to Wayne Davies as well for the super chat. Sorry, go on.
The pushback on that would be, though, Isaac's dribbling is very good. Isaac's close ball control is very good. And you need that in the Premier League. You don't need to be a world-class dribbler, but I think at times Gyokeres is a little bit sloppy and makes up for it with physicality. I feel like that's a tough ask in the Premier League, that's all. I think he would come in and get goals. But I just think, I don't know, I just sometimes watch him play and think, oh, heavy touch, but he's chucked someone on the floor, so he's made up for it. That worries me a bit. And I think he's only scored like 4 headed goals in his career, which is a bit weird.
The banning Eddie.
Exactly, yeah, take Maguire.
Is he 10 years old? They're banning Eddie now, aren't they, for youngsters?
Are they?
Yeah, my two aren't allowed. My younger two aren't allowed to do it.
Maybe that's The era who's come
Yeah,
from.
that's it.
Never
Yeah, he's younger than you think. RP says, love these debates. Kilito 12 says, definitely don't think Gyokeres is worth the numbers we're looking at. There's a big thing you always make the point, though, Joe, of like, even if he drops off, if he was to get half the amount of goals that he's got this season, we'd all be buzzing because that'd be 26 goals in all competitions, which should be more than sort of satisfactory. Everyone gets closing statements for 30 seconds, and then we're going to end the poll, and then we're going to see who is the winner of this little argument. Lauren, we'll start with you. You've got 30 seconds to tell us why Ollie Watkins. I know you made your case before, but considering what other people have said and some of the pushback you've had on it, and also there was a comment here, I'm going to give you a bit of help here, because someone put a comment in which I thought was
this fair?
Well, I just saw it and I meant to read it out.
Of the table,
someone said
honest,
that, if you get in Ollie Watkins, that should free up money because he won't cost as much as the other two. He could free up money to go for a goalkeeper as well. Anyway, go on, it's 30 seconds, off you go.
Premier League proven, is 29, so he's still got time on his side really, in this day and age in football. He's a team player, holds up the ball really, really well, very rarely injured, and I think that then we can grow someone behind him and learn from him. He's 16 goals, 8 assists this season alone, which is better than our forwards so far. And I don't think he'll be that expensive. I'd say he's probably 60 million.
Okay, good points. Joe, you can go next. Your closing statement. You've got 30 seconds. Off you go.
We should sign Osimhen because he's the most well-rounded player that we've spoken about. He's the only one that can terrorise a defence by himself, and I think that Gyokeres can push small kids around. Ollie Watkins is decent when he's not being kept out of the team by Marcus Rashford. But I think Osimhen can go to different leagues, different places, and do it. In the air, on the ground, he's a fantastic target man. He stretches defences, and he's got a brilliant track record in terms of goals as well. Perfect.
When were we allowed to make digs on the
end?
In what we've heard.
I didn't know.
He got that one in there because I gave you a bit of a touch on the other one. He had to get that one in, didn't he, about the old Marcus Rashford.
Also,
I love the facts as well. That, like, I know you're probably the biggest fan of Marcus Rashford on the channel, but it's almost like an insult. Marcus Rashford was keen on him. Can you believe that?
He's not even good enough for you.
Oh my God. No. What a loser. Right, Chels, last but by no means least, it's your 30 seconds to tell us why Viktor Gyokeres is the answer to all our problems.
So Viktor Gyokeres is the man for our problems, to fix everything for us, because he has played in the system before. He's played in Ruben Amorim. He has a relationship. He knows the style of football. He's moulded to that style of football. He's got the experience in England. He scores a lot of goals. And to be honest with you, if don't get me wrong, Watkins and Osimhen, brilliant signings, and I would be 100% happy with them. However, if a player like Gyokeres, who scored so many goals in the Portuguese league, wants to come to United with no European football, I think that's a big selling point for us wanting him, and I think we should sign him.
Okay.
What are you laughing at?
I think Lauren just had a little sneak peek. I know at the poll.
How's it looking?
Which I wish she had a little. Yeah. Have you ever seen Come Dine With Me where you've won? Well
won,
done.
Jane.
You've ruined my night completely.
You've got all the grace of decorum.
What's a sad little
Jane.
I miss that meme. I love that clip.
You won my night, so you could win the money.
Yeah. I hope it makes you very happy. Right, the poll is closed, is it? Oh, he's closing it now.
Last place.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
What a shock.
So, look.
I've just got a back.
The votes are in. We've had 454 votes. Yeah. And I'm going to, do you know what? I'm going to stick up for you, Lauren, because I don't think there's any surprise that you've come last. But,
no, there's no surprise,
but you had the most thankless task of anyone, right? Trying to stick up for Lauren.
It was your own choice.
Ollie Watkins.
You chose him.
I know, we've been through this. You always do this to yourself.
Stop picking Watkins.
You pick the hardest one to defend, and then act like a bit almost surprised that you've got him. You're like, I can't believe I've got him. Well, you could have chosen anyone in the world, and you picked him.
Just panic every time.
You should be
What
quicker.
percentage of the vote did Lauren
You don't want
That's
to know.
not important.
It's really not important.
Is it single figures?
I think I'm trying to do the maths here, right? It's 6%
Wow.
of 454.
Yeah, so you're looking around 24
he's
votes
underrated
Yeah.
though. Sorry, 6% is crazy. He is underrated. I don't think he was ever going to win, but 6% is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
24 people don't, they agree with you.
it feels like a protest vote, doesn't it? If you're voting for Ollie Watkins, it feels like
I think the remote control.
You know when you
slipped
spoil
on
your
their,
ballot?
Smart.
They're all shit. Or you take a photo of yourself in a polling booth because you know you're going to get shut out or whatever. Sorry, Lauren, but I felt for you there. I did actually feel sorry for you. In second place is Joseph with 38% for Viktor Osimhen.
Oh, it's close then.
So and
means-
the winner with over half the votes is Chels with 54% for Viktor Gyokeres.
If in doubt, just pick Gyokeres.
I mean, to be fair, it kind of makes sense. I also think with this, he's the one that's most likely to happen. So more people are. I'm not trying to
she
dismiss
always wins.
your
No, because she
win.
does. She gets.
No, I give very good arguments, and I'm a worthwhile winner.
She did the striker.
Yeah.
Right, next time we do this, I'm not having Gyokeres.
Right, I'll tell you what we'll do.
I'm
Right,
banned.
next time.
I'll have Watkins next time.
Next time.
You can't answer until
No,
We don't
next
get
time.
to give you. You don't even get to choose your own. We assign
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
The
I think that
Deal.
might be the best one.
Deal.
Best
Yeah.
So don't
chance for you.
panic.
Do you know what I mean? The next one, you can have first dibs, yeah?
Thanks.
Yeah? But not if you choose Ollie Watkins again.
I
You go
might
right.
She'll pick Watkins now, she will.
Who's the
might
best
do.
player in the league? Ollie Watkins. Thank you to everyone who got involved in the chat. Big thank you as well to everyone who's subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button. Joseph, we're going to be back later
Transfers
on.
live tonight.
Yeah, transfers live tonight. What time are we
Get
live?
to the bottom of all this. 9:30.
9:30, so
Yeah.
make sure you check that out. You know where to find Chelsea on all your socials as well. And Lauren, that's been Chelsea, that's been Joe, I've been Jay. This has been Agree or Disagree. Thanks for watching.